Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to the Taft City Council and Successor Agency joint regular meeting for Tuesday, December 16th, 2014, here at City Hall. If you'll check your cell phones and make sure that they're on vibrate or mute, we'd appreciate it. We're going to have a Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Dave Knorr and an invocation by Jack Turner from Peace Lutheran Church. So if you'll please rise and take your hats off, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would join me while we salute our nation's flag, salute and pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to prayer this evening before Thee, giving You all praise and glory, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. I ask, Father, that You bless the councilman this evening with the wisdom and the knowledge to carry out this meeting with the satisfy the agenda that would benefit the residents of this city. I ask that You be with each and every one of them that's here in attendance this evening. And if they have any questions, that they be satisfactorily answered. I ask that You bless each and every one here this evening with a safe journey home. This we ask in Thy Son, named Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Turner. Councilman Moore.
Yes, sir.
Madam Clerk, will you take roll call, please?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Knorr.
Here.
Councilmember Pryor.
Here.
Councilmember Bryant.
Here.
Councilmember Hill. Here. Mayor Miller.
Here. Thank you. I would like to just change the agenda, bring item number 4, which is a proclamation up to the forefront, because we've got 3 items here that before it's going to take a long time, so we'd like to just get to that right away. So, Mr. Cryer, would you please read the proclamation, please?
Thank you, Mayor. The City of Taft, State of California, the certificate for the commendation for St. Andrew's Episcopal Church 80th anniversary of Cornerstone. Whereas the first physical service held in Taft took place in the fall of 1922, as clergy would come from Bakersfield and Fresno to evaluate the possibility of a mission church in the community. On September 14, 1925, St. Andrew's Mission was formally organized, and whereas on May 3, 1927, lots 1 and 2 of Block 47 were purchased by the mission through loans from the district as congregation members began constructing adobe bricks from the clay taken from the property where the church now stands. And whereas a cookhouse was purchased from the Standard Oil, it was placed upon the property where Sunday school and worship services were conducted as the building was remodeled into a joint church and parish house. And whereas St. Andrew's Day, November 30th, 1934, the cornerstone for the new church was laid. The first service was held in a completed church on June 9th, 1935. In May of 1936, the building was completely paid for, and over the years, St. Andrews has been a wonderful facility with a beautiful sanctuary where thousands of people have come to worship in a place that is truly what the founders and builders hoped for. Now, therefore, the City Council take great pleasure in recognizing the 80th anniversary of the laying of the cornerstone of St. Andrew's Episcopal Church, and hereby commend the Diocese of San Joaquin, the parish, and the congregation who continue to explore their faith and form communities of support and love. Dated this 18th day, December 2014, signed by Mayor Randy Miller and City Council.
Here to come up and we'll get a picture. And whoops, she came the other way.
Thank you.
Come right around here.
Okay.
Get Doug over here to take a picture. Okay. Let me get this. Okay, here we go.
Very pretty. Oh, it's beautiful. You got, it'll look nice in our
One, two, three. Okay.
Thank you.
If you'd like to say,
so
if you
much.
introduce yourself, say a few words down there.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Well, it is a very, very great honor to receive this from you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Would you please introduce yourself to the viewing audience?
I'd be happy to. I'm the Reverend Heather Mueller, and I'm the priest in charge at St. Andrew's Episcopal Church. And this is a good percentage of my congregation.
All right, hi,
Right
folks. Welcome to
So-
City Hall.
Good participation.
Thank you very much, and I hope the rest of your meeting is great. We're going to now excuse ourselves and go and light the first candle for Hanukkah with one another and with our menorah. So we're going to leave.
All
But
right.
thank you.
Well, thank you.
very
Appreciate
much.
it.
Happy holidays to you.
I'm Catholic myself.
All right.
Decision.
Whoever designed that did a really
We're actually really proud of our accommodations, and we're one of the few cities that actually put them on mounted like that, so,
beautiful.
yes.
Thank you.
Very good.
I've got just the place.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
Merry Christmas to you. Okay, well, we're moving on to regular business. We're going to go back to item number 1, public hearing, ordinance and amendment relating to fireworks stands. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The 2014 fireworks stand lottery and license application period revealed confusing and inconsistent steps in the city's ordinance and the Kern County Fire Department's regulations. Title 4, Chapter 13 of the Taft Municipal Code provides the city's standards and processes for the sale of safe and sane fireworks. It was initially created by ordinance number 376 in April of 1974. There have been over a half dozen minor revisions and additions to the ordinance since its adoption. City staff has reviewed the current ordinance, lottery and license applications, and Kern County Fire Department requirements. As fireworks stands involve combustibles, staff took an approach to refer to the safety agency with regard to operations of fireworks stands, setback and separation requirements, and limited times that the fireworks can be discharged. Staff has also recommended the lottery be held by the second meeting of April to provide sufficient time for the lottery winning groups to receive application approval from the city to meet Kern County Fire's application deadline by May 15th. At the August 6, 2014 Planning Commission meeting, city staff presented the final draft of the amendment to Chapter 13, Title 4 of the Taft Municipal Code regarding fireworks stands. The commission approved the amendment unanimously and no further additions or deletions.
All right. Recommended action is conduct a public hearing, so I'm going to open a public hearing. Is there anybody wish to come forward and speak towards this change of ordinance? Seeing none, I will close the public hearing. Move on to item number 2. Motion to approve and amend the City of Taft Municipal Code entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Taft, amending Chapter 13 of Title 4 of the City of Taft Municipal Code relating to fireworks stands for the first reading by title only and reading of such be waived.
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Mr. Norr, do you have any comments?
No, I don't. I think it was explained quite well. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Ms. Hill? Right.
No comment.
And I have no comment. Madam Clerk, will you pull the board, please?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Noor,
Yes.
Councilmember Pryor,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Hill,
Yes.
Mayor Miller.
Yes, and that passes on a 5-0 vote. All right, got through that one. Item number 2, public hearing for zoning ordinance amendment relating to signs. Mr. Jones.
Thank you. At the May 21st, 2014 Planning Commission meeting, city staff presented draft amendments to the zoning ordinance regarding requirements for temporary signs. After thorough and lengthy discussion from the public and among commissioners, a consensus could not be reached regarding the appropriateness, quantity, type, and application review process for the temporary signs. Therefore, the commission voted to continue the item to allow time for staff and commissioners to study the current sign conditions in the city. June 18th, 2014 Planning Commission meeting, city staff presented a PowerPoint presentation on signs in general, along with a review of temporary signs and their allowances in the other Kern County cities. Discussions between commissioners, city staff, and public during the reopened public hearing process focused on easing the limits on business temporary signs, allowing small A-frame signs to be exempt from permits, and ensuring proper maintenance of permanent and temporary signs. City staff has revised the amended Chapter 15 to include the recommendations made during the June 18th public hearing. Additional revisions include providing English translations to sign with significant amount of text in foreign language, and accompany signs and logos on company vehicles. At the June 16, 2014 Planning Commission meeting, city staff presented the final draft of the amendment to the Chapter 15 of the TAP zoning ordinance regarding signs. The commission approved the amendment with no further additions or deletions.
That was July 16th, 2014. All right, the recommended action is item 1, conduct a public hearing. I'll open a public hearing in regards to the sign ordinance, and did anybody wish to come forward and speak against or for? Seeing none, I will close the,
Do you want to speak with a minor change in one of the?
Mark Staples, Planning Director. One minor change I'll recommend. I've looked over this a dozen times and you can miss things here and there. On page 15-5 of the amended ordinance, subsection A, where it regards or references including signs that have alternating messages that change more than once every 5 minutes. That should say every 5 seconds. That's one that wasn't even touched. It's not even part of the amendment that's before you. It wasn't a strikeout or underlined. So I recommend that we amend that to say 5 seconds. It's reader boards that you see like at the chamber and other signs that have time, temperature, or other messages on their boards. We just don't want things flashing incessantly. That's the only change I have.
okay. Now I will close the public hearing. Move on to a motion. I will accept a motion to approve and amend the City of Taft Municipal Code entitled An Ordinance of the City Council of the City of Taft amending Chapter 15 of Title 6 of the City of Taft zoning ordinance relating to sign regulations for the first reading by title only and reading of such to be waived, and also as amended by the planning department head. Mr. Staples. We have a motion? Motion. Second? You made a motion? Your second? Okay. Comments, Mr. Ryan?
I'm glad I read it. I had a question about the changing. Oh, it is on, I think. Button's down. Can you hear me?
Button is up.
No, this thing's backwards. It says on is down and off is up, so it's got me backwards.
Welcome to city government.
For you. There you go. We know us live in California, everything's backwards. I'm glad I read the ordinance because I had a question for Greg this afternoon about the sign up with the chamber. I wanted to make sure that we weren't gonna,
Make them take it down.
do something that wasn't positive, so that's
Good.
all.
Sil?
None.
Mr. North?
No comment, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Cryer?
No comment.
And I have no comment. Thank you for all the hard work on getting this to the council tonight, and hopefully we won't have to make any more changes. Madam Clerk, will you pull the board, please?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem North,
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer.
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Hill,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes, and that passes on a 5-0 vote. We move on to item number 3, a public hearing on the delinquent commercial sewer and refuse accounts. Mr. Jones.
On November 19th, 2014, notices were mailed to both the property owner and business owners notifying them of the sewer and/or refuse account delinquency. Also contained in the letter, both parties were notified of the time and place of the public hearing whereby council will hear any objections or protests from the property owner or the interested parties pursuant to Section 3-2-13 of the Taft Municipal Code. The second notice was mailed on December 10th, 2014, as a reminder of the public hearing and given any interested party the option to pay the account in full prior to the hearing to avoid a lien being placed on the property. The council made such revisions or corrections to the, council may make such revisions or corrections to this report as it seems necessary, after which by resolution the report shall be confirmed and shall constitute special assessments against the prospective parcels of land. I will point out that there has been some parcels that have paid in full. I believe you have the list.
That's correct, Mr. Mayor and council members. As you can understand, this is an evolving list. Our understanding is that 5 of the items listed here have been paid in full since this list was generated. Those would be items D, F, G, U, and V. Delta, Foxtrot, Golf,
I'm sorry,
Uniform.
C?
I'm sorry, D is in Delta,
Okay, Dell.
Foxtrot,
Okay.
Golf, Uniform, Victor.
Okay.
So you would be considering this list absent those items which have been paid in full.
Okay. Recommended action is conduct a hearing regarding delinquent commercial sewer and refuse accounts. And I'll open that public hearing. Is there anybody here to speak to or against? Okay. Would you please state your name and your address?
My name is Diane Williams. I live at 523 North Street. And it's Chris's Signs. And there's a house in back. And I'm not sure when it was, 3 or 4 years ago, the city sewer backed up twice in 8 months. Our house was about 98 years old then. Farthest paperwork I can find is 1910. And we had just had it leveled, put new roofs on and everything. And the sewer backed up, raw sewage flooded under the house. And it sank 5 inches. And before that, before we had it fixed the first time, at 98 years old, it was 2.5 inches on one side. Now it's 5 inches and a mess. And the city cleaned it out and put us in a motel for a week and then refused to fix it, the house. They hired an engineer to come and say, he said that it would have happened eventually anyway because we don't have rain gutters. And so they refused to pay to fix it. And so I stopped paying my sewer and garbage. And my husband was terminally ill. He's since passed. And I just could not deal with it.
So your address again is that?
523 North Street.
523, that's item number M. So you're here to,
And I went, and they're trying, I guess, not to send me my business license because I haven't paid the sewer and garbage. And I was told by somebody to go get a lawyer, and I really don't even want to do that. I don't want money. I just want it fixed. You know, just level, I don't care if prisoners do it or whatever. If they can just level it back up and then fix it, you know, just level the house, you know, not tear it down, but level
That claim is
floors.
covered by our insurance.
okay.
Then I'll be happy.
I've been told by the city manager that your particular claim for that, the damage to that home has been turned over to our insurance carrier.
And that's the ones that hired the engineer that said it would have happened eventually anyway because of no rain gutters.
Okay.
This was a.
And then, of course, they dug up the whole sewer and fixed all
I
that.
think there was a.
Well, messed up the alley in
It
the
seems to me
process.
that we're dealing with two different issues here. One, you're still living in the home and you're still using trash and sewer. And this is, and you have a business there. And this is related to your non-payment of those fees to continue to operate your business at that location. Am I correct in that? So you're refusing to pay those fees for your business because you're not getting
My house.
your house,
There's
which is a separate, in my mind, is a separate issue.
There isn't any
So
sewer in that business.
there's no restroom in that
There's a
business?
toilet, but nobody ever uses it.
Well, you're hooked up, and as far as I know from the city, and trash is also a part of the issue here too. So my advice would be to meet with our legal counsel here, or Mr. Jones, and try to come to some sort of conclusion of this, because our ordinance states that if you don't pay those fees, we will pull your business license until they're taken care of.
And it's-
eventually, we would also place a lien on your property.
Right.
So,
Well, since my husband passed away, like I said, I couldn't deal with him being terminally ill and with the city at the same time. So I just concentrated on taking care of him. And it's been about a year and a half since he passed away. And now I'm getting these letters and this stuff. And so I'm,
okay.
like, I think, you know, the city did us very dirty.
Well, you know, again, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that your husband passed. But we're here. You have an issue. We want to try to get it resolved. City manager and our city attorney will look into the status of your claim to see where that is at. But irregardless of that particular claim, we still have this other issue. If you have concerns about this issue that we're addressing tonight, I would recommend that you make an appointment with the city manager or our city attorney and come down and get it resolved.
During the day, regular business hours, I assume?
Yeah, not tonight.
Because I'm working somewhere else now. I'm doing the signs just part-time, and not very much of it.
I know the city staff is obviously very accommodating. They have access via email and telephone. I'm sure they would be more than willing to make an appointment with you outside of that to make sure that you're taken care of as a resident and them as a servant of the city of Taft.
Okay. Because I don't get home till 6. I just made it for this tonight. Because I would really like it taken care of. It's gone on for a few years now.
Okay, well, you understand where we're coming from, and if you'll
Yes, you want the money.
call or email city the city here and get an appointment, and let's get this to a conclusion. And that's
Okay.
what we're here to do, and we need to resolve this outstanding bill.
Okay, can you, who do I talk to?
City manager or the
Craig, is that Craig Jones?
763-1222. Call and ask to speak to either one of these gentlemen, city manager or city attorney.
Okay.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Mr. Leonard, state your name and your address, please.
Jack Leonard, in regards to 214 6th Street here in Taft. I put my name down here, so I guess I don't need to be in number 4 on this list, or what, or not 4, but whichever one is for public input. But anyway, as far as the sewer use and refuge charge is concerned, when I got these letters, it was a total shock to me. I understand now that the ordinance or code was passed in 1995. So we're talking about 15 years ago, and you're just now getting around to enforcing it. I'd like a copy of that ordinance. I've got 3 tenants or former tenants that's on this list, of which 2 of them have taken care of it. One of them I'm still trying to find. My problem is that if I understood right, if it's not paid, then there's a lien put on. A lien on my property kind of scares me. Is it going to be just as hard to get a lien from the city off of my property as it is with the IRS? I hope not. There was no, as far as I'm concerned, there was no notification that this ordinance was taking place back in 1995. And if this is the way it's supposed to be run, then why aren't you sending out reminder notices to landowners and say, hey, your tenant hasn't paid his or her sewer and use tax? I had no idea that two of mine hadn't paid theirs. I just assumed they paid, just like they pay water or PG&E. I think that you owe it to me as a landowner to let me know if one of my tenants is 2 or 3 payments behind as far as that, so that I can do something about it while they're right there. 2 of them are gone. It's difficult to get back to them because they're already gone. So I don't think that it's fair to me if you're not going to send out reminder notices or some kind of documentation or whatever in regards to the delinquency of a tenant. How do we know that, like this was done in 1995, how do we know that this is taking place as a normal citizen without coming here and seeing it? Or maybe reading it in a paper or something? This was total surprise to me that this ordinance even existed or what the ramifications were. So anyway, I just object to it because of the premise that you're getting around to doing something that should have been done a long time ago. One of them is probably 18 months ago. I don't know how they got a new business license. You know, business license is supposed to be withheld or taken if they don't pay it. Looking at this list on here, there's an awful lot of people. I don't know whether they're still getting business licenses or if they're working without business license or whatever the status is. But now all of a sudden the city is getting excited about this and trying to do something about it. And I think that the city needs to make some changes to their procedures and let landlords, landowners, and/or businesses know that they're delinquent as far as these charges are concerned. Okay?
Okay, Jack.
I'm waiting for some kind of response, and you're just dead.
Well, I'm waiting for you to finish up. You got to say what you got to say, so. We have recognized that we've had an issue with this in the past, and we've apparently have written off some of the ones that hadn't paid, and we're not in the business of doing that anymore. And so we've directed staff to look at these accounts and try to get notices to the business owner and the proper property owner in a timely fashion before they get to a point where they get unmanageable. And some of them have gotten way unmanageable because people hadn't paid. So we're enforcing our ordinance, and I believe you got that notification. You need to come down, like I told the lady before, asked to speak to the city planning department, or who would they?
I'm sorry, I was talking to the attorney.
Who would Mr. Leonard come speak to in regards to this situation?
The finance department.
Finance department, ask for Mrs. Binkley and see what we can do. Understand that your renters are gone and maybe not be able to to make payment on this, but it falls on the landowner, and I'm sorry about that, but that's where we're at with our ordinance.
Well, we're reasonably close as far as one, and she took care of it. She's made arrangements, a payment plan, and she's still there. Another one is an individual I know anyway, and he went ahead and took care of his. The third one, I understand, is in San Jose someplace now. It's kind of hard to say, hey, you owe a bunch of money.
Well, we're not trying to make life tough for business owners or property owners. The problem that we have here, this unlike residential sewer and garbage, which is on your tax bill twice a year, the city bills commercial accounts monthly.
Bi-monthly.
Or bi-monthly, is that?
Bi-monthly.
Bi-monthly. And so if somebody chooses not to pay their sewer and refuge, and we send notices out in the past, but they'll get 6-8 months out, and then, skip town or whatever. And so we're trying to get a handle on this and get notifications. And so if there's some tweaking that we need to do to make sure that the property owners, I think the staff has gotten that message, if we need to do some tweaking to allow, to send a notice to the business owner and the property owner, and sometimes they're one and the other, we'll work on that, doing that. But we're just trying to get a handle on these. This is taxpayers' monies. We're providing services, and we're not getting the reimbursement that we should on these. So,
just a suggestion. We've been contacted by a number of these people because of it being on the council meeting. The council could vote to adopt this tonight, and the liens would be placed 30 days from tonight to give the landowners 30 days to catch up with their renters or the people that are in business, or come down and pay it. I know a owner said that they were going to pay it and they were going to try to get it from their renters. So you guys want to give some time for people to...
Give another 30 days?
Well, if you voted tonight, it would be automatic in 30 days. It wouldn't have to come back. So she would just start the clock after tonight. It'd be 30 days. Give these folks time to get their things worked out with their tenants and stuff. So, just an option that you guys have.
Okay.
They're surprised to see the dollar amount on some of these that are totally out of hand. Is there going to be some kind of a compromise?
Well, there's different businesses have different, like restaurants are not like an office, so you wouldn't be paying the same one. Some businesses are based on the number of employees. That's why some of these can get out of hand really quick if we're not diligent on it, and we've requested the finance department be more diligent on getting the notices out. So, we're trying to get our process to where it's just kind of automatic. Now, if we need to include the property owner in those notices as we send to the business owners, maybe we should do that. But many of these businesses own the property too, so it's kind of a double deal. So we kind of have to figure those out. These are the only ones that are delinquent. We also have a whole bunch that we're sending bi-monthly billings too, that are, making those payments. So these are the only ones that we've notified that are delinquent. So that's where we're at, Jack.
Okay, you've heard my complaint.
Okay.
If I may, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Leonard, I understand what you're saying, and point of fact, I agree with a lot of what you said. Knowing now that we have noticed that we haven't been really good at collecting these dollars, the taxpayers' dollars, like the mayor said, we're going to change that. We're going to set things up such that it is automatic. And being as that is, and you being here saying I wasn't notified and I was unaware of it, now that you know it will be changed, and we're going to put teeth in it. Quite frankly, I believe that if we bill bi-monthly, if within the next billing period we have not seen that money then is 120 days old. At that point in time, there needs to be additional notification given, and if we don't get a response by the second billing cycle that's gone, that's when we need to pull the business license and we need to shut things down so that we don't let these numbers get far away. Now, if you're a commercial property owner and you want to make certain that you don't have this happen again, then in the future when you set up renters, perhaps you would include this cost in the rent. That way you know that you're not going to get a surprise, whether you get a surprise and it's sent to you, but if it's included in the rent, you will know when you get your rent that it is to be paid, and you can pay that directly, and you'll know that there is no threat of any lien being placed on your property. Just a consideration, since you are right. Surprises are no good, and I agree wholeheartedly. So we as a council have directed staff, and we're going to make it much more timely and very automatic. This is the taxpayers' dollars. These are services that are being rendered, and they have to be paid for by somebody, and we all have to pay our fair share. So we were remiss in letting people know about that. We will not be in the future, and people need to be cognizant of that. So I appreciate your comments, because I agree with you.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
You mentioned the number of employees and so forth. Number of employees doesn't necessarily enter into what the sewer charge is going to be or what the refuge is. I don't know what basis they use on there. I'm not sure that I agree with it as far as the number of cans that are behind my place, but that's a different thing. But when you talk about business license, you changed the business license 2 years ago, and I wasn't very happy about that either, because I had a fixed one, and then all of a sudden it got switched to average, and my business license jumped 75%.
As did mine.
It's tough. Well, I'm sure there was a lot of people that jumped a whole lot more than mine did.
We worked very hard as a council to minimize the impact, but please know that when we do these things, they are not arbitrary in nature. Like when the considerations are made for a business, whether it's a restaurant or how many people will be there, you have to try to draw from some average, and this isn't an average that, like I say, is arbitrary pie in the sky. It's something that is established, across many municipalities and government. It's the best accurate guess we can get. So the law of averages will tell you that at some point in time, some will be used more and pay less. By the same token, some will be used less and pay more. But we tried to make the average very fair across the board as much as we could.
Well, that average is based on gross receipts, not number of employees or square footage or anything like that.
It's also based on business type, when you're talking about the trash and the usage for sewer.
Okay, thank you.
I have
Thank you,
a
Jack.
question directed to the city attorney. Could it be similar, like you have a home, you rent a home out, and they get their electric bill, they pay their water bill and stuff, they don't pay it? Does it follow the renter, or does it doesn't go back to the, you don't pay the electric bill, it go back to the owner of the home for rental? I was wondering that could be fall in that category?
Well, usually those types of utilities in a residence are the accounts are set up by the individual, not by the landowner.
Well, same with the business, yeah, the electric bill, if they have business A, and I don't pay my electric bill and I move out, it doesn't go back to the owner of the property, it goes to follow the tenant on his credit.
Correct. The difference here, Mr. Cryer, is that it is done through the property, it's not done through the property tax statement, it's billed by the city, but based on the type of business, and it's the landowner who is ultimately responsible for it.
Thank you.
And one question, I know that Mr. Leonard brought up a good point, and I think me and Councilwoman Hill here were talking about it before the meeting, was in regard to placing the lien on the property itself versus having the person who may be renting from the property owner running the business and who ultimately incurred these fees. Right now, I don't believe on our business license application that we ask for the property owner, if they are not the property owner, the business, whoever the licensee is, if we're asking if they are or are not the property owner. That may be a way that we mitigate this, to have some sort of recourse to make the notification that you requested. Because I like the idea of having some sort of skin in the game for the city to go back and ultimately ask the property owner to make sure that their tenants are on the up and up. But are we taking the steps as a city or as a business in issuing licenses to put that information on a business license is something we should consider. It would help us make the notifications that he's requesting. I think it's reasonable.
The renewal indicates that if your refuge and sewer use is not up to date, then they won't renew your license. How some of these got renewed, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they touched on that being definitely remiss in that regard, but we're
I
looking
always
to...
made sure that mine got paid. I didn't always do it right on time, but I did. I owe the current one right now,
Well,
but
this is not something that just happened yesterday. This is something we've been talking about for well over a year or more, and trying to come up with something fair. It's just like the business license situation. It was something that was ignored, and the problem with ignoring something that you don't phase it in, it all of a sudden it hits you 75%. It should have been over that 15-year period when we didn't raise business license. It should have been phased in 5% every 5 years or something, or, something along that line.
that
So-
would have been nice.
So
That'd be gradual.
those are the things that we looked at. We've hired consulting firms to come in and give us advice on how to handle these things, and this is what we've come up with. So there's always tweaking that can be done, and Mr. Bryant raised some good points here. But you have a rental, one year it's a restaurant rent, next year it's an office, the next year it's a beauty salon, next year it's a hardware store. They could all fall in, and if we just bill you as the property owner, we're on some set fee, maybe that's what we should look at doing, I don't know. So, these raised some good questions. We're just trying to get, on behalf of the taxpayers to collect these fees that are due.
Well, I
We are
thought about
providing-
raising the rent so that I would end up paying those things, and that way I'd know it's paid. But I'm having a hard time renting them at the rent that I've got now, let alone bumping the rent up $50, $60, or $100 a month.
Well, the ultimate responsibility is property owner, so that's what we've determined. Notification is the thing that apparently we need to work on. So if we send a notice to the business owner, maybe we should send a notice to the property owner at the same time.
I think so, too.
So that you will know to go talk to your renter and say, you got to pay this, or you got to extract the funds out of them, or you're ultimately
I
responsible.
had that
for it.
opportunity with the one next door, and they took care of it. But
Okay.
when they're gone, then it's harder.
All right.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Jack.
We don't really want to put liens on property. That's just not what kind of business we're in, so.
That's like trying to get them removed.
All right. Thank you. Should we read each one of these? A through F? Oh, are we still in public hearing? Oh, I'm sorry. We've got to close the public hearing here. Anybody else? Okay. I'm going to close the public hearing. The recommended action on this is, we don't have a recommended action. What do we?
It's a resolution.
Motion to
Motion to
confirm.
Is it, oh, here we go. Conduct hearing. Motion to confirm. Should I read the addresses or amounts, or what should we do here?
You do not have to read the addresses or the amounts. Someone could make the motion as it's directed there for items A through FF, with the exceptions of the items that I read before, D, F, G, U, and V.
Okay. Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion to confirm the list of delinquent commercial sewer and refuse accounts and approve resolutions titled, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Taft approving and confirming the delinquent commercial sewer and refuse for the following properties, except for item D, F, G, U, and V.
Motion.
Want to do the 30 days?
Second.
And also, we'll amend the action to show that we're going to have a 30-day implementation period before we put liens on these properties. Are we going to notify the landowners and property owners of the?
They've already been notified
Okay.
twice, so they have, yeah, they know.
Okay. So we've sent
30
two
days.
notices already out to the landowners. Only 2 out of approximately 20 showed up tonight, so we assume that they understood, because they had a chance to come, like Mr. Leonard and Mrs. Williams, come forward, so. I'll entertain that motion.
So moved.
I think I made the motion, and I think Ms. Hill seconded that motion.
Oh, did we? Okay. Any further comment?
Nope.
Madam Clerk, will you poll the council, please?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem North,
Yes.
Councilmember Pryor,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Hill,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes, and that passes on a 5-0 vote. All right. Well, moving on to item number 5, citizen request for public comments. This is a time and place for the general public to address the city council on matters within its jurisdiction. State law prohibits the council from addressing any issue not previously included on the agenda. Council may receive comment and set the matter for a subsequent meeting. Please limit comments to 5 minutes. Dr. Kathy Oren with the Chamber. Good to see you, Dr. Oren.
Hello, good evening. I just want to take this opportunity to thank the council for a wonderful year. Also, I would like to thank the city staff. We couldn't do what we do at the Chamber were it not for the wonderful relationship we have with the city staff and with the council, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much. So I'm really saying this to you new people here. We expect this to continue. So, I also wanted to tell folks that we've had a lot of interest on the part of people in the community to see our Christmas parade, and through the efforts of Richie Brown, who videoed the parade, and Vincent Griffith, our resident videographer, that will be able to be on your Channel 11. So, for those of you that still would like to see the Christmas parade, which was excellent this year, it will be presented following the presentation of the chamber, the city council meeting. And how many times will that be up?
It's 3 times a day.
3 times a day. So you can celebrate the Christmas parade 3 times a day.
I don't know if it's on weekends. I didn't check schedule.
So you'd have to not enjoy it on the weekends. I think we could all live with that, but thank you for making that happen, Vincent. So just wanted to get that information out to folks. Thank you. Have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, everybody.
Well, thank you, and Shannon, for all your hard work at the Chamber. You had a very successful year with all your events, and looking forward to 2015, which will culminate with the Colorado celebration.
Yes, that'll be fun. Thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we're moving on to item number 6, council statements, non-action. Mrs. Hill.
Well, I just wanted to make a small mention about the Christmas spirit. I've noticed that since it's become more politically incorrect to say Merry Christmas, you don't hear it at all anymore. When we were children, we heard it from every clerk, every teller. As you walked up, you heard Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's. It's not a dirty word, folks. Say it. If you need to say Happy Holidays to be politically correct, say Happy Holidays. But I'm going to go against the grain and say Merry Christmas, and I'm trying to say it to everybody I see, but spread the word. It's a nice word. It makes people happy, and if you say it to people, they'll say it back. So, Merry Christmas, folks.
Thank you. Mr. Bryant.
You know what? We had the cruise night, I believe, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. It was a little bit sparse out there, but the weather was a little bit cold, and I'm looking forward to the next one. I had a chance to go out and meet a couple of the business owners around town, especially in the downtown and Center Street area, and I look forward to meeting others, whether it's on Center Street or anywhere else in town. But that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Cryer.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that, you know, a lot of negativity about our police department in our country, the U.S., over several events. And I just want everybody to know, put on record, that I support the police department. I support all the work they do, to put their lives at risk to save everybody. And it seems like they do everything right. The political correctness is to change what actually happened and something the opposite. And it's sad because not everybody wants to be a police. I wouldn't want to be one, because I wouldn't put my life every day trying to go forward, trying for a ticket, or go to the house for domestic violence, or you don't know what you're up against. And they're the peacemaker, and I let the police department know, and our U.S. First responder and the police department, that myself and I know the council here supports the police department and what they do, and keep it up. I know there's a lot of times you wish, I don't want to go there. I know I'm going to get ragged on because of different ethnic background and stuff, but keep doing your job, do what's right, and feel good about yourself in your heart you did the right thing. And thank you for all your service that you all do, and especially the ones in Taft here. They do a terrific job. Never hear complaint. Our crime is low. We never had anything serious, and they really do a hell of a good job. I really appreciate what they do here, and I think the citizens do appreciate it. Now the issue is our supervisor, David Couch. He's going to be sworn in January 5th as chairman of the board, and I believe it's at noon. And just to let you know on that, and I'm very happy that he's our supervisor, and he does a lot of good for our area and his district. And I wish him the best of luck on his new position there.
When is that again?
It'll be January 5th.
January 5th, thank you.
I plan on being there. And,
Is that the downtown chambers room?
yes. He's a good man. Another thing, like Councilwoman Hill mentioned, Christmas. I like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Think of all the ones who are less fortunate and help those. 'Cause a lot of times, everybody has a situation in their life that something happened to them beyond their control. Help them up and be part of it, and, and give them a hand in the Christmas spirit, and know the meaning of Christmas. Christmas is about the birth of Christ. We're there to redeem us, and in the beginning, and it's not this giving of gifts and stuff. It's a matter of goodwill to our man, and so think of the spirit of Christmas, and don't be afraid. Ms. Hill said the Merry Christmas and stuff, and it's not Xmas or holidays, but it's our country's found on. And next year, you haven't seen anything yet. All the things are happening on here in Taft, we're going to have our new motel, we're going to have Taco Bell, we're going to have a restaurant coming up, a grand opening here New Year's Eve. There's so much happening in here. Wait till the end of next year and see what's coming up and what's coming after that comes into town. And it's something that we look forward to, especially when you come to Oil Dorado, all the good things that come out of that deal. Not only having a festival for the 2 weeks period, but all the goodwill that comes from that, and people and businesses that see that and come and hope to become part of Taft too in the future. And when you go out there and party on New Year's, make sure you have a designated driver. Don't do anything crazy and drive while you can't impaired. Because sometimes, you think you can drive home, it's only 2 blocks away. That's where most of the accidents happen. Most accidents happen within a mile from home. And so if you have something to drink, call a cab or your friend or your wife or your husband. Make sure they drive you home so you'll be around for next year and see what's all the great things happening in Taft. And I too want to thank the Chamber of Commerce, Kathy and Shannon, all the great things that you guys do. Sometimes, you're there and you hear a lot of things. You're the spokespeople for our city, our sounding board, to know all the issues that goes on in town, to let us know what's happening, that we can make Taft a better place for our businesses and people a place to live and stay. So thank you again for the hard work that you guys do. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. North.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm sorry I had to step out. I had an issue I had to deal with, matter of fact, law enforcement, but it was oversized loads coming in, and so the CHP contacted me. Just briefly touching on that, it's all over the news. I found something really ironic. This seems to be the symbol now for non-compliance with the law. You see them doing that, and people are protesting, and they're breaking windows and burning things, and what's ironic about that whole thing, I find, is that if you do that when you come in contact with police officer or law enforcement and you add yes sir and yes ma'am to the mix, typically it turns out to be a very pleasant encounter. I've never had to throw my hands up, but I have had to speak with officers of a lot of different departments, and yes sir, yes ma'am always seems to go a long way, and in point of fact, when we're done, they return a favor. So be polite to law enforcement, they will be polite to you, and don't break the law. It's a great way to keep from having to deal with law enforcement. It's always been the way I saw it. Also, you have to believe in the democratic process, folks. Grand juries have access to and are presented with a great deal of evidence in both of the issues that seem to be talked about more and more in this country these days. And once they weigh out all of those facts, and it's more than you will find on Twitter and Facebook and social media, they came to those conclusions, and you have to believe in the process, which I do as well. Beyond that, I want to wish everybody a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas, and I would rather live in Taft than anywhere. I got to believe that people agree with that, and it's a wonderful place to live. And lastly, before the mayor tells you about it, we're getting rain. We're getting rain and a little bit of sun, and the one thing that's cropping up is this beautiful shades of green. Little shades of green, little pockets of green are cropping up everywhere. They're going to crop up in the alleyways, and they're going to crop up in your side yard, and then the mayor's going to tell you about taking care of your weeds. Weeds are easy to kill when they're little bitty green sprouts. So I'm going to jump out there in front of the mayor and say, guess what? It's wonderful to see it already coming up. If you don't like the green where it's growing, kill it when it's young. It works best. So happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Nora. Since you've been jumping on that issue for a couple of years now, I'll just delegate that authority to you. You can be the weed baron. But it is an issue. They're easier to get them out when they're fresh and wet than when they're all dried up and nasty. So the weed season will be coming. So you got to realize that City of Taft no longer has inmate work crews to go out and do a lot of the weeding that necessary. So we need for you to, around your property, even out on the parkway or the side or maybe in the alley, is to help us, to help you, to help the community, do your part. You mentioned the grand jury. You may have read in both our local newspapers, grand jury part came in, and we actually got a glowing report. So it was delight to have that. They were really impressed when they came over. I gave kudos to city administration, especially our city manager, and they could only find one minor issue, which was disaster preparedness, which everybody puts on the back burner because it's not going to happen to us. But it's something that we need to look into and coordinate with the other agencies in our area, because we could lose roads, we could lose our main water line coming in, we could lose electricity, we could lose all kinds of services that we've come depend upon. And so after the first of the year, I'm sure we'll be looking more into
As a good manager,
that.
I've already delegated that.
Oh, you've already, okay.
Got the right guy on the job there.
We've already jumped on it, so we'll get a report back to the grand jury that we're doing that, and hopefully we'll not have any more grand jury other than their normal visits to cities. One of the things that I noticed tonight, driving down Kern Street, especially when it's a dark, moonless night like it is when I came down here, people just barge right out into the crosswalks, and some of them are wearing dark clothing. It's very hard to see. Slow down, please, slow down on Kern Street. We've got those lights, due to the efforts of former Councilman Waldrop, to get brighter bulbs in the light standards along Kern Street, but I caught myself driving by and looking and look up and then hear somebody dart out in front of me. You just got to be really careful. We don't want any tragedies, and especially at night, and especially when it's raining and it's dark and driving down Kern Street, because people tend to drive a little fast there. So just keep an eye out. Also, I wish on behalf of the city and city staff to wish everybody a very, very Merry Christmas, and we're looking to a great new year, because in fact we're energized for the future. We're not looking backwards, we're looking forward. And like Mr. Cryer mentioned, we've got a lot of great projects on the books, and we hope to add more next year. And, of course, next year, 2015 is our Oil Dorado celebration, and so we all get jazzed up about that. And so, let's get the spirit, and let's clean up our properties, and let's make Taft a showcase that it really is. So, thank you very much. We'll move on to item number 7, Planning Commission report. Do we have a planner here tonight? Oh, Ms. Jones. State your name and your address, please.
Shannon Jones, 105 Woodlawn. I would like to first start out just saying Merry Christmas, so I don't forget that as well. And I agree with Renee that, we should be saying it because it puts everybody in a really positive mood, and who doesn't want to have that around this time of year? As far as for the Planning Commission, we had two zoning ordinances that came before us. One of them was an amendment to include emergency shelters, transitional housing, and supportive housing. That passed, which put us in compliance with the state mandates. Also, we passed a zoning ordinance regarding solar systems, the permitting process, as well as the fees, or expediting the permitting process and the fees that are associated with that. We are already conforming to the standards that were set for AB 2188 for solar permitting processing. And then finally, we approved our Planning Commission schedule to coincide with the city council meetings for the 2015 year.
And we are now have a vacancy.
We will.
On the Planning Commission, so we'll be sending, after tonight, we'll be sending notices out to the public. They'll have 30 days to, if anybody wants to become a planning commissioner,
Yes.
you need to get down, contact City Hall here and see what the process is to sign up. So I'll be looking for a planning commissioner, because Mrs. Hill had to resign because she's now a city councilman. So is there anything else, Ms. Jones?
No, just that anybody that would be interested in serving on the Planning Commission with us would be welcome, so.
And we give kudos to Mrs. Orrin at the chamber, but you're certainly a big part of the chamber there, Shannon, as the events coordinator, and we appreciate everything that you've done this past year, and we're looking forward to a mighty grand new year, so.
Yeah,
thank
we've got
you.
we've got a lot of stuff planned at the chamber for next year as well, not only for Oil Dorado, but lots of really big events. We'd like to continue them again.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Item number 9, city manager statements. Mr. Jones?
I just wanted to point out, I gotta save the date for the State of the County address. It's the end of January, I don't remember the exact date. Is it 28th? The 28th at the Marriott, I believe, in Bakersfield. Anyway, David Couch will be the chair this year, so the West Side will be showcased this year, so it'll be a good meeting. I just want to thank the council for budgeting the funds for the city employee appreciation dinner that we had the other night. Well deserved for the employees. It was very nice, and we raised a lot of money for Shop with a Cop. Just want to mention this year's Shop with a Cop is 27 kids? 27 kids. It's one of the biggest ones that we've had so far, so kudos to the police department for raising those funds for those disadvantaged kids. I think that's about it. That's all I have. And we skipped the department reports. I don't know if you want to go back to
Did I skip? Oh, yeah, I did, didn't I?
Sorry.
Item number 8, I skipped over. Department reports. Do we have any department chair? Oh, Staples.
Mark Staples, Planning Director. I'll keep it brief. Some have already received the electronic notice, but the kickoff meeting for the Annexation Ad Hoc Committee is bumped to after the first of the year. It will be on Thursday, January 8th at 4 in the afternoon. And that's all I have.
All right, thanks.
Also, just real quick, I want to point out that the city staff has continued to work on the Sandy Creek area down there, cleaning out the tremendous years and years of accumulation of mess in that drainage channel. Thankfully, I had a feeling we might have a wet season, so we wanted to get after it, and hopefully my forecast is correct. Hopefully the rain continues, but they've done a wonderful job. If anyone's looked down there, it looks really good.
Also, we've started work on the 5th Street Plaza on the southern end.
We got multiple projects going at one time. We only got a few people, so it's been interesting.
Yeah, notice they removed the asphalt yesterday. Are
And
we
they
back into layer of concrete?
No, there was no concrete on that side.
Really?
That 5th Street all the way down to Kern Street is concrete, except for that one portion.
Good. That saves us a lot of money,
Saves a
time and
lot
effort.
of, yeah, a lot of men.
On the, also on the rails to trails from along Hilliard up to A Street, how are we on that project?
Well, that project is, the contractors are done, and now we're going to work with the Conservation Corps for completing the project. So it'll be first project I've been involved with using the Conservation Corps. So
I happened to drive by today after the rains last night. About 100-foot
yeah, I was up there
section of
today.
that has not been graded properly, and we're getting leakage of the
A
soil.
lot of that'll stop because we're going to plant grass on that section, so it'll hold the soil back, but they do need to do some more grading. Pointed it out to them before it rained, and they thought obviously I didn't go out there and survey it, but.
And down at the end, it's kind of a V cut on the west side of that asphalt trail, and the kind of the water kind of goes down and it just pools up. Was that an idea of just having it pool up down in there?
Well, the idea would be for it to be landscaped completely with grass and stuff.
And absorb.
It would absorb in, but.
We wouldn't have runoff.
With budgetary problems we've had, we didn't get to do the complete project on the other one, but this project we're working on now, we're probably going to end up hydro-seeding it in the springtime, so there will be some
Okay.
sod there. That'll hold back some of the erosion, and then hopefully we can do some sod at least in the first couple 100 feet of the other section to kind of.
Are we
hold back
going
the
to put
soil.
in sprinkling?
Yeah, that's the Conservation Corps. It's going to help us put in the irrigation and plant all the trees. We have 32 Chinese elm trees that'll go along Hillard Street. Yeah, so, and then it'll be grass. It'll be nice.
Okay, so for those of you
It's
out
not
there
done.
looking at it, we're not done yet, so that's cool. All right, any other items? Okay, now we're back in order here. Item number 10, city attorney statements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, no statement.
No statements tonight. Okay, we're moving on here. Item number 11, future agenda requests. Does any of the council have a future agenda? Last time, I had asked for a accommodation for the Taft College men's soccer team, but they made the finals, but they didn't win the championship. But I would like to have maybe a letter or some sort of accommodation go to them.
Certificate of appreciation.
They really accomplished a lot. One of the few small community colleges out of I think how many, it's 200 schools to get to the quarterfinals, and some of those schools are student bodies of 50,000 students. So for our school to get that far, to be almost state champions is quite a testament to the program that we have here. So anyway, okay, moving on to the consent calendar. Items 12 through 18, all items listed on the consent calendar shall be considered routine and will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a member of the city council requests specific items to be removed from the consent calendar for separate action. Any item removed from the consent calendar will be considered after the regular business items. Are there any items on the consent calendar that any member of the public would like to comment on? I see none. Okay, we'll move on to, I'll read the items. Item 12, minutes of the December 2nd, 2014 regular meeting. Item 13, payment of bills. Item 14, the treasurer report, dated November 19th, 2014 for the month of September 2014. Item number 15, USDA loan administration contract with the Wallace Group. Item 16, amendment number 1 to the agreement with the West Side Healthcare District for inmate medical services. Item 17, resignation of planning commissioner and a city council appointed West Side Recreation and Park District board member. And 18, possible cancellation of the January 6, 2015 meeting. Would any councilman like to have an item pulled?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to pull item number 17, please.
Okay, and I'm going to pull item 15. So here we go. We're going to vote on the consent calendar for items 12 13, 14, 16, and 18. I'll entertain a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Motion and second. Any comment? Madam Clerk, will you poll the council, please?
Mayor Pro Tem Noor,
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Hill,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Item 15 is a USDA loan administration contract with Wallace Group. Mr.
Thank you, Mayor.
Jones.
With a kickoff of the wastewater maintenance project funded by USDA, it will be necessary to contract with the Wallace Group for project administration. The Wallace Group was chosen through a selective process for professional services and will be providing these services to the city throughout various task orders, which will be brought before the City Council for approval as needed to complete the project.
Okay, I have to have that item pulled because I had, being an old insurance guy, I had to, when I read through the contract, I noticed that there was no provision for the Wallace Group providing the city with a proof of liability, auto and/or work comp coverage. And so I've talked to our city attorney, and he's going to contact to make sure. These are normal provisions that are normally with any contract. But anytime that we have a contract, and the Wallace Group is a contract, and they come onto our property, no matter if it's the people who supply coffee or the Wallace Group or any general contractor that the city uses, as long as they're on our property, they should show proof of liability, auto, and workers' comp, so that the city is covered in case there's an issue. So I'd like to, I'd like to go ahead and have, the recommendation is to approve the contract with Wallace Group for USDA loan administration for an amount not to exceed $36,000 and allot funds from the wastewater capital reserves with the provision, the city manager to have a contract provision to show proof of liability, auto, and work comp insurance.
Motion.
Second.
Motion second. Mr. Noor.
I believe you've explained it quite well, Mr. Mayor. I see no additional discussion from myself.
Brian?
Agree with Mr. Noor?
Ms. Hill?
I agree.
No comment?
Right, okay. So everybody approves the contract. We've been working with the Wallace Group anyway. Madam Clerk, will you pull the board, please?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Noor,
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Hill,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes, and that passes on a 5-0 vote. Item number 17, resignation of planning commissioner and the city council appointed. That's a resignation of the planning commissioner and of the city council appointed West Side Recreation Park District Board member, Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. The city has received letters of resignation from Renee Hill for her planning commission seat due to being elected to the seat of the city council, and also from Bill McPherson for his seat on the West Side Recreation and Park District Board of Directors. Ms. Hill's term was not set to expire until June 30th, 2017, and Mr. McPherson's term will not expire until December 31st, 2015. Per policy, a notice of vacancy will be published for a minimum of 30 days, and applications accepted from interested members of the community in order to fill these seats.
Mr. Noor, you had a question in regards to this?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The reason I asked that this be pulled, I was approached by a member of our community, a long-standing member of our community, Mr. Roy Heimler, who happens to be in the audience this evening. He expressed an interest in the appointment to the West Side Recreation and Park District Board. I will say that I served on that board prior to being elected to the city council. I've known Mr. Heimler for many, many years, and his lovely wife Janine, and they've raised a lot of children and done a wonderful job of it. He also worked for the city in the City of Taft Fire Department, was responsible for budgetary concerns as well as being a team player. One of the things that I told Mr. Heimler when he asked me if he could be considered, and I told him I'd be happy to recommend him as well, was that in the past we have had people asked to be considered for appointments, and the night of the appointment, they're not here. Oftentimes, that's somewhat of a surprise. And I had glanced at the agenda, and I told Mr. Heimler, I said, I believe this item comes before the city council on the upcoming meeting. Well, obviously, I was a little bit ahead of the game, but I just want the record to show that Mr. Heimler took time out of his busy day to be here because he said, absolutely, I'm still interested, I will be there. So, looks like we're going to have to see you again, Roy, but I want to thank you very much, sir, for your time. I am sorry for my mistake, but I just wanted my colleagues here to know why you were here, and I jumped the gun, but thank you very much. I look forward to endorsing you, sir. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Cryer?
No comment.
It's nice to see somebody involved. I've known Roy for a long time, grown up with his older boys. I would encourage more people to continue to get involved. I know Renee said it before, Randy said it before, all of us have said it before. Knowing Roy, he's a stand-up guy. We definitely support him, but it's nice to see other people getting involved. So that's all I have.
No comment.
Okay, well, Mrs. Mayfield, what is the time period? Are we going to put a notice out, and how much time do we have?
We're required to have a 30-day window for people to apply.
Okay.
They will contact me. I have an application. The application is also on our website and can be downloaded there. It needs to be to me within that 30-day window. It will publish 3 times in the local paper, and once we close, I will bring the item back to you the first meeting of February, I'm thinking. Will be the next
Yeah,
meeting.
and that's just the process we have to go to, and to be fair, I understand Mr. Heimler, I know him too, but I've also been contacted by a couple of people that are interested in that position, and the planning commission, so we give everybody a fair chance, and I agree, I'm kind of, we've been here a long time, Dave and I, and we've had more than some times where people just don't show up and expect it to, just a walk in the park or something, I guess, I don't know, but, so it's kind of unnerving for people to have to come up and, and make a presentation about the job, but that's something that we decided to do years ago, and so we appreciate all those folks that have applied over the years, and hope people will take an interest. So that's the West Side Recreation Park District and the Planning Commission for the City of Taft. So look for those notices in the paper and look on our website. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy.
So, so the recommended action is motion to accept the letters of resignation and direct city clerk to start the recruitment of these positions by publishing a notice of vacancy.
Motion.
Second.
Motion is second. Do we have any further discussion? Madam Clerk, will you pull the board, please?
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem Noor,
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Hill,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes, and that passed on a 5-0 vote. We're at item number 19, reorganization of city council committee assignments. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor. In 1994, the City Council established several standing committees, each of which have been delegated certain responsibility to review issues within its area of expertise and to make recommendations to the full City Council concerning issues. Per Policies and Procedures Manual 101, City Council traditionally reorganizes every 2 years after an election has been certified and the committee appointments are made. Below are the committees and the number of council member positions. Airport Committee, 2 members, 1 alternate. Finance Committee, 2 members, 1 alternate. Personnel Committee, 2 members, 1 alternate. Public Works Committee, 2 members, 1 alternate. Safety Committee, 2 members, 1 alternate. And Traffic Committee, 1 member, 1 alternate. In addition to the above committees, there are the following: League of California's Legislative Delegate Program. Legislative Delegate position is currently vacant. Kern Council of Governments, 1 member, 1 alternate. City Selection Committee, 1 member. And LAFCO, none is needed at this time until Taft's rotation comes back around.
Okay, well, we don't have a real procedure for doing this, but I'm going to kind of start out and say that what I would like to do for myself is that I've been an alternate for the Finance Committee for 12 years. So I would like to get appointed to the Finance Committee, and I've been on the Public Works Committee for, I don't know, 8 years, and we've got some projects going on there, so I'd like to lend my expertise to that, but I'm open for anybody else that would like to be, start out with the Airport Committee. Mr. Noor, do you wish to continue on that, or?
Yes, sir. I've dealt with several issues with the airport dating back to a couple of different supervisors. I kind of I have a horse in this race since I live right next door to it, and I do have a great deal of interest in it, so I would appreciate it if I could continue to be a part of the airport committee.
Okay. Mr. Cryer, do you wish to continue on that airport committee, or do you wish to have an alternate, or continue as alternate, or you want to?
Being a pilot, I have no move on being on the airport committee.
You do or don't?
I would.
Okay. We need an alternate. Brian or Ms. Hill?
I'd be honored to serve on one of the committees the rest of my fellow council members would appoint me to.
Okay. And we have the Finance Committee, Mr. Knorr.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, this is something else that I hold near and dear to my heart, and that would be the taxpayer's wallet. There's a lot of things that have happened to the city's finances over the course of the past 10 years, some ups, some downs. The city has worked very, very hard to get headed back in the right direction. I do believe I've got a pretty good understanding of how we got to where we were and the hole that we had to climb out of. I would like to continue serving on the Finance Committee.
Okay. An alternate? No. Think about being an alternate when you have two council members. You can go to those meetings, but you cannot talk. You can't say a thing at those meetings, so it's frustrating sometimes if you go, so, but we do need an alternate in case somebody doesn't show up. Does anybody have a desire to be an alternate to the Finance
I
Committee?
would be very interested in that.
Absolutely,
Okay.
likewise.
Rock, paper, scissors.
No, I feel like I got a very extensive background. I know I've got a very extensive background in both the public and private sector. I've worked in public accounting. I've done my own set of audits on the public accounting, whether it's city, county, local government agencies, working in both the public and private sector. I feel like I've got the resume to support it.
I'll let him go for that.
Okay, so appoint Mr. Bryan as the alternate. Personnel Finance Committee, I've been on that particular committee for a long time, and I'd like to abstain from it, so I'll throw that open if somebody, Mr. Knorr, do you wish to continue on that committee?
Mr. Mayor, I've been on that committee for some time too. I believe perhaps it's somebody else's turn. So I would make room for Councilman Cryer if he would like to be on that committee. I know that he's been an alternate there and he's been involved in these issues. If he wants to move up from being an alternate to be on the Personnel Committee, I believe that he's earned that right.
I'd be honored. Thank you.
That leaves an opening and an alternate for Personnel Committee, so.
I'm interested in that, yes.
Okay, Ms. Hill and Mr. Bryant, you'll be an alternate?
I absolutely concur.
Okay. We're getting this? Okay. Moving on to Public Works Committee. Again, I've been on that committee for quite some time. We've got a bunch of projects that I have good knowledge of and been working with staff over the years, so I'd like to continue in that role. Does anybody else wish to be a member of that?
I'm very interested in being on that committee.
Okay. And we need an alternate.
I'd be interested in that.
Well, that's myself, Ms. Hill, and Mr. Bryan as an alternate. Safety Committee. I've been on that committee for some time. I think I will let somebody else be involved in that. So, Mr. Cryer, you wish to continue?
Yes, I would. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Bryant, would you care to serve on the Safety Committee?
Absolutely.
Okay. And we need an alternate. Mr. Nor, are you interested, or?
Well, sir, I'll tell you what, I don't mind towing the line and being a part of it. I'm heavily involved in safety in the industry and have been for quite some years, so perhaps I have something to contribute. Yes, sir, I'll be the alternate.
Okay, so we have Mr. Bryant, Mr. Pryor, and Mr. Alternate. Mr. Nor is the
I can take
alternate.
that.
Traffic Committee, Ms. Hill, you've been on that as a planning commissioner. Would you like to continue that role, or would you like to
Sure.
turn that over to somebody else?
That's fine.
Okay, Mrs. Hill will be the one council member, then we have planning commissioner, city engineer, and public works on. Okay, we get down to League of Cities, legislative delegate. We don't have anybody currently.
I believe there was some paperwork.
She did not.
She didn't
it
get the
to me.
paperwork. Oh.
No, I was supposed to receive information from Hillary Baird,
Yeah,
and she did not get it to me before the meeting. She was going to send just some information as to when the meetings would be, what the commitment would be on behalf of the person. who-
is the Kern County League of Cities still meeting, or the San Joaquin District, or whatever?
Yeah,
Used to
this
go
is-
to those meetings, but
This is we need a voting delegate for the League of California Cities.
I'll take that role, because
It involves travel, that's why I think a lot of people don't. It's once a month, I believe. It involves travel up to Fresno.
And I should have that information. She just didn't get it to me this afternoon. That she
why don't we put that on hold until the next meeting, and you get more information, see what's involved, and see who would like to get involved in
I've
that.
gone to one meeting, and that was in Madera. I think each meeting is a different locale.
Yeah, it's usually somewhere around Fresno area, sometimes as far as Sacramento.
She did state that not all meetings had to be attended.
Yeah.
And that she would outline that on what she was going to send to me, what actually
Okay.
needed attendance.
Okay, next one is HernCog, which Mr. Linder has been on for at least 6 years, and is very involved in that, and it's an important appointment. And Mr. Cryer has been the alternate and has attended a number of meetings, and so I'd like to recommend that Mr. Cryer be the council delegate to Kern Cognos.
I concur with that. Absolutely.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so Mr. Cryer, and I'd like to appoint myself as the alternate to that in case Mr. Cryer can't show up for a meeting, if there is no objection. Next item is City Selection Committee. I don't even know what the, I know that they met, when I got appointed to the Air Board, city selections from each community in the southern San Joaquin District. I think there's 8 counties, cities, and county representatives, and they vote on several appointments, and one is to the Air Board. So it's just, it's not something that you have to attend a lot, or it's just, they just need somebody repping from the city when those appointments come up.
Yes.
They need a majority vote, which is sometimes to get, but I think there were something like the neighborhood of 50 to 60 members of that committee, depending on how many cities were involved and the number of counties involved.
And there will be a meeting coming up in the near future. I do have an email, but not a lot of information, just an email asking.
Well, if there's no objection to that being mayor, maybe I can go ahead and, if no objection, I'll take the role in that, lead in that role for the city selection committee. Then the next one is a valley-wide special city. Valley-wide, so we have a city selection committee and a valley-wide city selection committee. Mr. Cryer was the alternate. Mr. Waldrop was on it before as the council member. Mr. Cryer, would you like to step up to that?
Thank you.
And we need an alternate. Does anybody wish to?
I'd be interested.
Okay. Right. As the alternate. And then LAFCO, I don't know when the next time we'll have a LAFCO appointment, but it travels around.
A few years.
Yeah. Okay, so the way I got it is on the airport committee is Mr. Knorr and Mr. Cryer, and with the alternate, Mr. Bryant. On the finance committee is Mr. Knorr and myself, and Mr. Bryant is the alternate. On the personnel committee, we have Ms. Hill and Mr. Cryer, and Mr. Bryant as the alternate. On the Public Works Committee is Ms. Hill, myself, and Mr. Bryant as the alternate. The Safety Committee, we have Mr. Bryant and Mr. Cryer and Mr. Knorr as the alternate. On the Traffic Committee, we have Ms. Hill. There's no alternate. Do we have one?
No.
Which one?
On the traffic committee, there was no alternate.
No, we need a planning commissioner now.
Which we're going to do at the next planning commission meeting.
Yeah, they're going to do it at the next planning commission.
Okay. League of California Cities, we're going to put that on hold until we get more information. Kern Cog, we have Mr. Cryer as the council delegate and myself as the alternate. City Selection Committee, myself appointed to that, and the Valley-wide Special City Selection Committee, Mr. Cryer and Mr. Bryant as the alternate.
I think when you call Mr. Knorr Mr. Alternate, you turn to your right, not to your left.
Sounds like, Josh, you earned that label.
I just got an email from Hillary Baird with League of Cities. She said she would like to have someone from the city. And the meetings February 12th, April 16th, June 11th, and August 13th, and October 8th.
And
You'll get advanced.
Points unknown.
And then there's a legislative action day, April 30th in Sacramento, and a golf tournament.
So that's the League of Cities?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, we'll put myself in there for now. All right, that's done. Everybody okay? All right. Last order of business is we'll be going into closed session tonight. Item number 8, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9, what?
We actually need to vote on the list of...
Oh, we need to, I'm sorry, we'll move right past that. Recommendation for item 19, reorganization of the city council, is a motion to reorganize the committee as deemed appropriate, and we have done that.
Second.
Motion second. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, will you pull the board, please?
Yes. Mayor Pro Tem Knorr,
Yes.
Councilmember Cryer,
Yes.
Councilmember Bryant,
Yes.
Councilmember Hill,
Yes.
and Mayor Miller.
Yes. Now we'll go on closed session. Item number A, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9A, City of Taft versus CDCR. Thank you so much for being here. Merry Christmas, everybody.